Oh, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, and I got Herald of Perfection variation number 42 for you. Now this one is similar to variation number 17. Now if you've kept up with my channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Variation number 17 was a Herald of Perfection Prediction Princess build, and then variation number 18 right after that was Herald of Perfection Invoked, like Mechaba, Invocation, Alistair, Magical Meltdown, Herald of Perfection Invoked Prediction Princesses. So those were two builds where I worked with the princesses and focused on, rank 9 plays, etc. Because Mechaba's a level 9, Princess is level 9. Was trying to, do certain plays. Calamities wasn't out yet, but, I was basically like, saying in the video, you can make Calamities. But this is very similar to those builds in the sense that I'm running Prediction Princesses. So you can fairly say that this is Herald of Perfection Prediction Princesses. Now Herald is the king, and he had to have his, he had to have his side hosts, and they're my side hosts too. But he has to have his princesses. There's no queen in this deck. If there was a queen, I think Princess Katana would definitely, she deserves the crown. She's just that good. I used to call her Pom Pom Girl, but now she's Princess Katana. But this deck has been through a lot of changes and a lot of modifications, and just as long as I've had this deck, it's just never been the same. It just never stays the same. It's just kind of that deck that's so flexible. This is the most flexible deck that I have in all of my arsenal. That's why I'm able to do so much with this deck. And it's not just so to say that, oh, it's so easy to splash this deck with anything. It's not easy to splash Herald of Perfection in anything, but for some reason, I'm able to do so. So we're going to hop right into this deck profile without further ado. So we're not running invokes in this, even though the Herald invoked was amazing, having Mechaba and Herald of Perfection and Prediction Princess Terratray. And it's different from the Prediction Princess Herald build because I was running more princesses. Now we're doing less. So we're gonna hop right into this. 3 copies of Herald of Perfection. This man is amazing, dude. This is like my Dante. Like how Burning Abyss players feel about Dante, this is how I feel about this card. We've been through hell and back. Like, dude, like this card is just amazing. He single-handedly wins games. He wins almost every single one of my duels. When I make him going first, it's just like you have to have an out now. Like if you can't draw into your out and you have to hard draw it, you can't search. That's another thing that's more powerful. That makes Herald a lot more powerful as a boss monster because you can't search your outs to him. He won't let you search. You can't Fossil Dig for Overraptor and then try to go Conductor. You can't do that. I'm going to negate the Fossil Dig. You can't Diagram. I'm going to negate that. You can't activate any cards to search your outs. You have to hard draw them. So when you play against this guy, guess what you're playing off of? You're playing completely off of luck. Totally luck based in order to draw your outs because you can't search them. So if you top deck an out, if you top deck a Kaiju, thank God you got a Kaiju. You're good to go. But if you don't top deck a Kaiju, I don't know how you're going to get out of this. This card is very, very powerful and hard to play around. Most people think that they can bait him out. That is the dumbest thing to ever do. Playing against this deck is to try to bait out the Herald. It never ends well for you. It never does. With the deck that pluses more than any deck in the current meta, I don't know any deck out that pluses harder than Herald, that literally draws or searches as much. And when I say pluses, I mean plus, ending with more than you started with. It's not no true Draco Demise that just keeps drawing, but stays, at 5 or 4 cards in hand. I'm talking about legitimate pluses where you get more than what you spend. Basically profit. So 3 copies of Herald of Perfection. 3 Princess Katana. Hiya! She's got the fans, bro. If you play Mortal Kombat, you know what I'm talking about. She was formerly known as Pom Pom Girl. I was the only person that called her Pom Pom Girl. So if you hear Pom Pom Girl anywhere, you know exactly where they got it from. But this is my baby right here. I just like to nickname all the cards in this deck because I love this deck so much. I really do. I love this deck so much. This is my favorite deck in the world. This card, when she came out, dude, I almost cried. Like, I felt like she was exactly what I was needing. Because I used to play Heralds with just Nikatama and Advanced Ritual Art, and it was horrible because you never plus. But now, with the new additions to the deck via Ritual Sanctuary, Pot of Desires, pre-preparation of rights, and this card, they took this deck on a whole new level. But 3 copies of Princess Katana. Hiya! And then we also have the other princess, Prediction Princess Terratray. She is so amazing. So Prediction Princesses synergize very well with this deck because every fairy that I run in my princess lineup, I said fairy, I'm such an idiot. Every monster that I run in the Prediction Princess lineup is actually fairies. Even Prediction Princess Koi Norma herself, where she's at, she's a fairy, and I used to run her in my other variation. Now, the issue I had with her in the past was once you resolve her effect, for the rest of that turn, you can only use Prediction Princess effects. So that means I can't use Herald of Perfection to negate, and she would kill me a lot of the times that I'll use her. So I decided to not play her in this build, and I recommend if you're splashing Herald of Perfection and Prediction Princess, which has only been done on my channel and nowhere else, don't play Kornoma. She's just not going to work out. But Terra Trade's awesome because not only is she a light, but she's a fairy, which is amazing. She's searchable through your Princess Katana. She's searchable through your Ritual Sanctuary. She's obviously searchable through pre-prep, and she's just so powerful in this deck. Just having the forms of disruption that you have via Terra Trade and Herald of Perfection are amazing. A disruption and stopping your opponent's key plays is just really, really powerful. I feel that control has always been the best way to go for me. Like even if I play a deck that can OTK, I need to have a control variant to it because I want to play skill. To me, control is skill. It's not really skillful if you're playing an OTK/FTK deck. It's just your deck is a glass cannon. It's a hit or miss. I'm not a hit or miss kind of guy. I just want to go straight up. I want to make sure that I have a guaranteed chance to win. And playing a deck like this, your chances of winning are very, very high because not only are you disrupting and hindering and crippling your opponent's plays, but you're building yourself up while you tear your opponent down. A prime example is when you go stick chair. You're taking cards away from your opponent and giving cards to yourself. That's a great example, to clarify what I just specified. Building yourself up and tearing your opponent down. The one tech spicy monster that I'm playing in this deck, I have two, but I'm going to tell you one of them. Pot of the Forbidden is freaking amazing, especially in this deck, because he's another plus, enabling you to draw two. That's the effect I use the most. Draw two cards. You pre-prep, you Pot of Desires, you stick chair, you Metal Foes Fusion, plus then you Pot of Forbidden, plus even further. It's insane. Like, dude, this deck is crazy. It just goes so freaking ballistic. It goes ham, bro. It just goes straight ham. Just straight gorillas. Like, no joke. This deck just goes in, bro. Like, it's so freaking broken. I can say consistent all day, but we already know that this deck is consistent. I have proven it factually. Factually, I've topped with this deck. It's just so stupid. So that will sum up the big lineup. Basically, the blue cards and the high-level monsters. The only high levels aside from Pot of the Forbidden himself, which is Raigeki, Heavy Storm, kind of like a Mind Crush, and then a Pot of Greed are the blue cards. And naturally, I play 6 blue cards, but I did not want to cut my Princess Katana at all. She's extremely important. She's the best monster to ritual summon with, because she pays for herself. So every time you ritual summon, just to make it consistent, you want to be using her. That's how important she is. Moving forward with the non-blue cards, we play 3 copies of Handy Manny. Now everybody knows this is my helping hand. That's why I call him Handy Manny. I nicknamed him I think 9 months ago, and I started calling him Handy Manny. Ever since, that's what he's been. And he has a bunch of hands on his back. His name really fits his artwork. 3 copies of this beautiful girl right here. Now, if you guys play Pokemon, there's this Pokemon known as Cerebral or whatever. What's his name, dude? It's like he looks like a little mini Sprite. Somebody comment in this video and tell me the name of that Pokemon who looks like a baby leaf, and he's so cool. He turns invisible and he can influence decisions. I want to nickname her after that Pokemon, but for now we're just gonna call her Spirit of the Fall Wind. Now, she searches your flip effect monsters. I'm literally playing 3 copies of her to get straight to my Pot of the Forbidden. This is the only target she has in this deck. The only target. 3 stacks, you're crazy. No, I'm not. Pot of the Forbidden is that important. Think of this like how I do my Foolish Burial Goods. My Foolish Burial Goods, I love to play it with Metal Foes Fusion just to have 4 copies of Upstart, right? I'm playing Spirit of the Fall Wind at 3 so that I can see my Pot of the Forbidden. Now, as long as I played this deck, when you open up with a card like Handy Manny and a pre-prep, you've got your ritual summon. Now, if you open up with Spirit of the Fall Wind and pre-prep, you've got your instant Terra Trade right there, because Spirit of the Fall Wind searches the level 9, which is 1 tribute, which is, the cheapest way to summon Terra Trade, because she's a level 9. So obviously, you just want to use a 9 for a 9. That way, you're not utilizing too much resources, because this is still a Herald of Perfection deck. And so you just normal summon her, search your Pot of the Forbidden, and then play your pre-prep, search her out in her ritual, or you can use Ritual Sanctuary to search her out. And then bam, ritual summon for her, summon her, and then bring him out in defense. Now, most people say, oh, 3 stacks, you're crazy, because what if you draw her? What does it say right there? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that says fairy, right? Right. Okay, so she's a fairy. What do you think I'm also using her for? Negates for Herald of Perfection. Food for Herald. Once you have Herald on board, only cards you want in your hand are fairies. That's all you care about. I mean, if I don't have a fairy, I want a card like Pot of Desires to get me the fairies. Or I want a Foolish Burial Goods to get me the fairies. She is freaking insane in this deck. That's how clutch she is. Honestly, you can put in more targets for her for your build, but this is my build and I'm doing it a certain way because I know what I'm doing. I'm not just talking. I know what I'm doing. Moving forward to my favorite combo in this deck, we have 3 copies of Staff and, of course, what's coming next? 3 Thrones. Team King of Games, baby. All day, every day. Every time you summon that Herald, he sits on Sovereignty, grabs the Scepter, and he's like, look, I didn't say you could play Rhoda. Negate. I didn't say you could play Terraforming. Negate. I didn't say you could play Upstart. I'm playing. I'm going to let you play Upstart. I didn't say you could play Twin Twisters. Negate. I didn't say you could play that Galaxy Cosmic Cyclone. Negate. Oh, I'm sorry. What you activating? You're activating Lithosogen from hand? Oh, I bet you got 2 babies. Negate Lithosogen. Broken. Broken. This combo breaks boards, you guys. You already know what's up. 1 copy of Honest. Now, I cut 1 Honest for... Dun, 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 dun. Here comes a spicy tech number 2 that I told you about. Bam! My whiptail, baby. I'm so addicted to what Zodiacs do in Heralds, being such a powerful recovery engine that I found myself not being able to part ways with a Zoo engine in this deck. It just runs so broken with the Zoos. Obviously, we don't see any barrages, right? We don't see any rapiers, so it's not that kind of Zoo engine that you would think. I'm going to explain it. If you guys have kept up on my channel, you saw a Herald of Ultimateness Time Lord build, which is freaking broken, by the way. Herald of Ultimateness Time Lord. And I ran 1 Whiptail. So I'm going to explain this combo just like I did in that video in case people, are new to the channel and haven't got a chance to watch that. So you summon your Whiptail, Dryden. Dryden's effect, pop. Dryden's still in the extra monster zone. Whiptail's engraved, right? Then you're going to go summon Chakanine. Chakanine, detach special Dryden to the main monster zone. On top of Chakanine, summon Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar's effect, attach that Whiptail back to Dryden. Not only has your Dryden now paid for itself, but you have another Dryden, the same one. You have an extra monster zone. From here, you can just link summon if you want to into Mrs. Radiant. So it has really, this 1 Whiptail has really awesome synergy with this deck. And it does provide for additional combo overextenders and free outs. Because you can hard summon your Broad Bull, you can hard summon Chakanine, you can hard summon Tiger Mortar via Stick Chair, which gives you an additional outlet for your Stick Chair target, for your Stick Chair combo. Because most, for example, True King players will resolve Lithosogen, and if they see my extra deck, they're just gonna go for this, bam, bam, and Utopia the Lightning, or if not, they're gonna go for these 3. Automatically, because if they see these, they know what I'm playing, especially if I already resolve Stick Chair against them. They're like, nah, I'm going to banish your targets. So when the True King Dino player banishes my targets, they don't realize I can hard summon Tiger Mortar using 3 level 4s, pop your card, draw a card, and then stack Broad Bull on top of that and search and get a +2 or 3 depending on what you pop. Dude, it's freaking broken. The 1 Whiptail, you guys, it just totally works. Even if you top deck this is an entire Zoo combo in itself. It's amazing. I just love the way this deck freaking works. It's so broken. And everything on my channel is original, you guys. I need to stress that fact so much. Because I've had issues in the past where people have tried to tell me that's not original. Somebody did that first. And then here's the thing. Whenever I do my deck profiles that's new, I always research. I always look things up. I'm always monitoring my channel. Before I do a deck profile, I type in YouTube, Prediction Princess, Herald of Perfection, 2017, August, July. I'll type in every single month. This year, then I'll go 2016. And you know what pops up? Team King of Games, invoked, Prediction Princess, Herald of Perfection. You know what pops up after that? Team King of Games, Herald of Perfection, Prediction Princess. After that, it's a shit-all deck. Dude, I know what I'm talking about. Like, that's why I know my stuff is original. First of all, I don't net deck anybody. And secondly, if you see a deck that's like mine, more than likely, they got it from me. I've caught so many people net decking me, it's not even funny. My subscribers know what I'm talking about. 3 copies of pre-prep and 1 prep. The 4 preps, the +1s, are amazing. And what they do for this deck, they get you so far ahead in terms of card advantage and also getting you the combo pieces you need. Resolving this, like, when you have that awkward hand when you have Dawn of the Herald and you have Terraforming and you have Prep, right? You activate Terraforming, aka Optimus Prime, search out your Las Vegas. Las Vegas, discard Dawn of the Herald, search Benton, aka Princess Katana, and then activate Prep, add Herald, and then add this from graveyard to hand. And you have a pre-prep without a pre-prep. This is more broken than pre-prep because it's not once per turn. And you can put it back into your main deck and keep drawing it, keep resolving it, and it'll be a comeback every single time. It's such a clutch card. This is the most skillful of the preps. There are two different preps, obviously. This one's at 1. I wish it would come to 3. This is a lot better than pre-prep to me. It just really is. It does the same thing as pre-prep, just a backwards order, and it's not once per turn. I really think this is better than pre-prep. But don't get me wrong, pre-prep is my favorite spell. To this day, it is. And moving forward with the pluses, it's extremely important to plus in this deck because you want to be ahead of your opponent in card advantage. Because naturally, you're going to have to commit some of your resources to negating your opponent's play. So you want to save a backup play for yourself to produce the damage you need next turn, or to just make sure that you can continue producing your combos and make sure that your Herald isn't the only thing that you're sitting on. Because 1800, you can attack for 1800 so many times until your opponent finally top decks the out and wins the game. So you just want to always have pluses in this deck, so that way you'll have backup plays. For example, if I open up and I end, like there have been games when I ended with 6 fairies, right? 2 of the 6 are actually Starseraph Scepter and Starseraph Sovereignty. Now, what do you think I'm going to save in my hand? I'm going to save that Stick Chair. There have also been games when I've left Honest in my hand and discarded, and negated every single play in my opponent's hand. Next turn, normal summon Honest, and then switch Herald to attack. Attack for 29, Honest effect, bounce itself back to hand. Discarded, negate their top deck. Dude, it is so freaking fun and funny at the same time. But 3 copies of the sauce, I can hear the hate comments all day saying, why are you playing Pot of Desires at 3? You obviously don't know about Herald and you don't play this deck. The +1s are extremely important in this deck. You have to have more cards than your opponent. I love to match my opponent card for card, but if I have 5 fairies in hand and my opponent has 5 cards in hand, I negate every card in his hand. I can't OTK him next turn. I don't want duels to last very long with this deck. And when you do it right, it really doesn't. It's literally first turn, setup. My opponent goes to his first turn, negate. All right, pass turn. Next turn, I summon enough monsters for damage. They scoop. I don't even get to attack. Moving forward with one of the spells that I think is very, very necessary and also mandatory for this deck's playstyle is the Foolishness. So you've got Juice and Berries. I call all the preps Juice and Berries. You've got the Sauce, because this card is the sauce. It's the goo. Then you got Foolishness. Now, Foolish Burial Goods is insane in this deck. Not only being basically an upstart, so you have 4 copies of Upstart. I don't play Upstart Goblin in this deck. Light Points are becoming extremely relevant for this meta. Trick Stars and Chain Burn are kind of creeping into it. So you play Metal Force Fusion, put it back, draw a card. This becomes an instant Upstart. It also can become an instant search. You can Foolish Burial Goods your Prediction Ritual. It can't be banished the same turn as Scent, but you can banish it and search out your combo piece that you need. And also, when you have your Las Vegas on field, obviously, you just want nothing but spells engraved, right? You can activate Foolish Burial Goods, dump a spell, and this spell becomes 2. Like, there have been times, I explained this in one of my videos, where I actually had Starseraph Sovereignty in my hand, and I had to discard Scepter, to negate. And I ended up playing Foolish Burial Goods. I had 2 spells engraved. I had Pre-Prep, and I had Dawn of the Herald. Now, I drew into Foolish Burial Goods. I activated Foolish. I sent another copy of Foolish. I recycled 1, 2, 3, 4 spells from my graveyard back into my deck. Special Summon Scepter, revealed the Sovereignty in my hand. Bam, Stick Chair combo right there. And Foolish Burial Goods is what actually made it happen. So Foolish Burial Goods has a lot of synergy in this deck, and it's good for more than one thing. That's why I like this spell. It's extremely versatile. You do not have to play anything that I play. I honestly recommend that you utilize your mental capacity to your best advantage and just figure out how to play this deck your own way. Every single way that I play this deck, every one of the 42 variations were all, just original ideas that I came up with playing with this deck as long as I played. I have this deck forever. Like, it's just been too long. So I just definitely recommend, instead of net decking me, that you just use this as a guide. I'll just say a guide like that, just to get a grand idea of how the deck can be ran, and then build it on your own. See how it works. You'll learn to play your deck better if it's your build. You feel me? Like, for example, if you net deck me, you're never going to play this deck as good as I can play it because I know this build heart. I know it. Like, I know this build by heart. I know everything. I know every single combo possible in this deck. If you net deck me, you're not going to really know what you're doing. You're going to hit me up on the comment section saying, 3 stacks, can you give me a combo video? I'm trying to learn how to play your deck. I much prefer that you guys just figure it out. I'm not saying you're on your own. I'm not going to help you. I will help you. But what I am saying is try to help yourself and you'll become a better duelist in the long run. 3 copies of Las Vegas. And please don't take that into offense. Just please understand where I'm coming from because I learned how to play this deck by myself and that's why I'm so good. I'm the master of Herald to perfection now. Like, if you play this deck or if you play a deck by yourself and figure it out on your own, you'll realize how much better you'll become versus just watching somebody else's combo video and copying somebody else's combos that they came up on their own. 3 copies of Las Vegas. This spell is the live more, win more card. Normally when I resolve it, if I do not have Metaphor's Fusion, I'm going to take a -1 and I'm going to have to recover from that via a +1 that I run numerous of in my deck. Now, this is also extremely important because you can revive your Herald of Perfection, recycling 6 spells in case your opponent kaijus you or they solemn strike you. You can revive that Stick Chair or level 4 just to go into rank 4 plays. Like, this card has actually helped me to go straight into Utopia the Lightning and just win me a game with no Herald, just made Utopia the Lightning, killed him. This it's just really broken. You have numerous spells, numerous discard outlets for this. This is such a broken field spell. I love it so much. It pays for itself in the long run. As long as you can protect it with Herald, every single turn, if you draw a spell, you can trade it out for a fairy to negate. 2 copies of Optimus Prime. I believe firmly in not playing 3 because if you open up with a Terraforming, a Ritual Sanctuary, and another Terraforming, you're not doing anything that duel at all. Your other 2 cards are going to have to be pre-prep and Benton or something like that. And even so, you're going to end your board with the Herald of Perfection and 2 to 3 fairies in your hand. And that's not going to win you a game. You might lose that because you won't be able to negate enough of your opponent's important plays. So I believe firmly in playing 2. You don't have to play 2. You can just play it however you want. 3 copies of Dawn of the Herald. This is my baby right here. This pays for itself. It's a ritual spell that literally just pays for itself. I love it a lot. And the other ritual spell, which I play 2 of, is actually Prediction Ritual. It's an amazing ritual spell. It summons obviously Terra Trace specifically and only her. That's why you can pre-prep for it. In addition to that, you can banish it from your graveyard and search any Prediction Princess monster. Now, the only Prediction Princess monster I'm playing in this lineup is Terra Trace herself. So you can actually use this when your first Terra Trace has been made, or if you Foolish Burial Goods, to search out Terra Trace. And there have been times when I've just used this to search Terra Trace and get a free fairy. And actually it became a plus because it wasn't a card that I drew. It was kind of an investment for the future. So I'll go Pot of Desires, pre-prep, Stick Chair, banish this, add another fairy, and then have too much sauce. And then 1 Metaphor's Fusion. In addition to it being a Foolish Burial Goods target, you can discard it for your Ritual Sanctuary, and then you won't have to take a -1 that way. It'll actually be a +1. The +1s in this deck are so real, it's crazy. I can't actually keep count of the pluses because there have been times when I just accidentally plus, like I didn't even mean to. That will sum up the extra deck. I'm sorry, the main deck. Moving forward to the extra deck, this is a card that I'm so happy that I can run. We're playing 1 Calamities. It's so easy to make once you get your Terra Trace rolling. Now, that's another reason why your fairy Spirit of the Fall Wind is so important in addition to her being a level 4 fairy, rank 4s, and discard for negates. Because she gets you right to Pot of the Forbidden. This card will actually get you to True King of all Calamities because you'll summon Terra Trace and you'll summon Pot of the Forbidden. You'll flip Pot of the Forbidden, activate his effect, draw 2, then draw 2 off of Desires, then pre-prep for more. Dude, you're just going to plus heavy off of this deck. You're going to plus off of Pot of the Forbidden. Naturally, I use them to draw 2. Then you'll overlay those 2 into your Calamities and summon your Herald of Perfection next to Calamities. If you have Herald of Perfection and Calamities in this deck, what the heck is your opponent really going to do? Dark Hole, negate. Raigeki, negate. Kaiju, pick 1. Dude, he's not doing anything. And I like Calamities in this deck a lot because he just makes sure that I don't have to sacrifice so many fairies. Now, all I have to worry about Herald doing is negating the spells and the traps. And really, it's going to be negating the spells because you go first, you make this and this. Your opponent can't activate any traps. So all you're going to do is negate the spells because no monsters. And if your opponent has hand traps, for example, if you call, let's say you're playing dinos, right? You call Earth, so no Lithosagum, no Earth, no babies. They still have Miscellaneous Swords, the hand trap, so they can normal summon Overraptor, or they can activate Miscellaneous Swords first to try to protect Overraptor. Herald of Perfection can negate that, because remember, you called Earth. And even though cards in their hand that are Earth monsters can be activated, Miscellaneous Swords obviously can. So this is like the ultimate lockdown right here. And it's easy to make in this deck. That's another reason why I really wanted to do this variation. To play a Herald of Perfection deck that can freaking make Calamities, bro. So 1 Calamities, and you just recycle him with the Daigusto Emerald if need be so. 2 copies of Roadkill. Now I opened up with the combo where I was actually able to link and then still have Dryden and Calamities. But the problem with the Dryden and Calamities is I didn't have Herald. If I had pre-prep in that hand, that would have been literally Herald of Perfection, Dryden, and True King of all Calamities, which is freaking insane. Like, I'm still trying to figure out the card ratios and learn how I can set up like that every first turn. That would be amazing. But it's difficult to do, and you basically just have to have that blessed hand. 1 copy of Bravo. You hard summon him, 2 level 4, search out your Whiptail to pay for himself, and then you'll go Dryden right on top of him. And now, if your Dryden happens to die, right? Or let's say you have, like, you summon Bravo, right? You can actually, if you already have Whiptail in your hand, let's say, like, you hard summon your Chakanine, you can go Bravo on top of Chakanine, and then you can go Dryden just to have more materials, you know, more XYZ materials, just for example. But we're playing 2 copies of Roadkill. And then 1 Chicago Bulls, you know, just to search out that Whiptail. And 2 level 4s is really simple. Chakanine, because Chakanine can revive Dryden from the graveyard. And then if he lives, next turn you'll just summon Dryden on top of the Chakanine. And you'll have 2 Drydens now. And of course you're going to Tiger Mortar first for her. And then, you know, get the Whiptail, put it under the other Dryden. It's just really freaking clutch. The Zoo engine is very small. It's just 5 XYZs. It's just double Dryden, the most important one to me. Dryden is such a skillful card. Contrary to what everybody says, Zoos are not a skillful deck. Yes, they are. This is I mean, dude, do you know who you're talking to? Like, I've played almost every single deck that was skillful since 2001. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For 16 years, bro. Since 2001, baby. I mean, I know skill when I see skill. And when this deck came out, I knew it would be a skillful deck. It's not an autopilot deck, like most people would say. It's not autopilot. Because if in the hands of a skillful player, as skillful as this deck is, Zodiac can be unstoppable in the hands of a player who knows what he's doing. So the five Zoos, it's just so important that if you run Zoos in any deck, it increases your ceiling exponentially. And then we're playing the Utopia package. 2 copies of Daigusto Emerald, Resource Manager, Assistant Manager. They keep each other on check and make sure everybody gets their bills on time. Gets their paycheck on time. The Star Safe targets going first, going second. Deltaros is so broken because you can't negate him when he has Scepter under him. Because you can't respond unless you negate his summon. But if his summon goes off, Scepter goes off simultaneously. You can't respond. You can't strike the effect of Scepter. You can't. It's just, you can't. You have to strike the summon or you lose. Abyss Dweller to kill the babies. And of course, against my own deck, Dinos. And again, I'm sorry, I said Dinos against my own deck, Yang Zing. And I was going to say Dinos play Yang Zings, which really bothers me because Yang Zings are great by themselves, and I just feel like Dinos are just ruining it. Dinos are really ruining it for Yang Zing players. I'll say it like that. Tornado Dragon and Mrs. Radiant. You play the Mrs. Radiant so that you can do the combo that I told you about, where you make Dryden and Calamities. If you have pre-prep, in order to have that combo successfully, you have to have pre-prep. If you don't have pre-prep, you'll still end with this board with your Dryden and Calamities, which is extremely, extremely powerful. But if you have pre-prep in the middle of that dude, you're winning. You're not losing at all. You have Herald, Dryden, and freaking Calamities. That's too many problems. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember, this is Herald of Perfection variation number 42. I believe firmly that this deck has no limitations whatsoever. And one day, I'm going to literally have 100 different builds for Herald. I already have 42. Pick one, dude. Every single one of them are broken. I put my foot in this deck and I never make a mediocre. I've actually never made a mediocre deck like a day in my life. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. I love y'all. Have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for supporting my team. Mwah. Peace.